The summer sun beat down on the community pool in suburban Chicago, where the air hummed with laughter and splashes. Willow Thompson, had just finished my laps when I noticed her. Zoe Ramirez, lounging on a deck chair, her eyes hidden behind oversized sunglasses. She turned to me with a casual smile and asked for a towel, but then leaned in close and whispered, "Actually, I don't need one." Her breath warm against my ear, sending an unexpected shiver down my spine. That whisper was the spark that ignited everything. In that moment I felt a pull I couldn't explain. A magnetic force drawing me toward this stranger who seemed to see right through my carefully constructed facade. I handed her the towel anyway, my hand lingering a second too long, and she laughed, a sound that cut through the noise like a melody I'd been waiting to hear. We started talking right there, towels draped over our shoulders, water dripping from our swimsuits. Zoe was new in town, having moved from New York for a job at a local tech startup. She was bold, unapologetic, with a wit that made me laugh in ways I hadn't since college. I told her about my life as a high school English teacher, the safe, predictable routine I'd built in this conservative neighborhood. But inside, I was screaming for something more, something real that didn't fit the mold my family had cast for me. As the afternoon wore on, we exchanged numbers, and that evening, my phone buzzed with her text. "Coffee tomorrow? Or is that too forward?" I stared at the screen, my heart racing. Forward? It was exhilarating. I'd dated men before, checked off the boxes of what was expected, prom dates, college boyfriends, but nothing ever felt right. This though? This felt like waking up. We met at a cozy cafe downtown, the kind with exposed brick walls and the aroma of fresh espresso. Zoe arrived in a fitted leather jacket over a graphic tee. Her short hair tousled just enough to look effortlessly cool. I, in my cardigan and jeans, felt plain next to her, but she made me feel seen. "Tell me about your family," she said, sipping her latte, her eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made my thoughts scatter. My family, the Thompsons, were the epitome of Midwestern values. Dad was a pastor at the local church, Mom volunteered endlessly, and my brother was following in Dad's footsteps with seminary school. They loved me, but their love came with strings, expectations of marriage, kids, the whole heteronormative dream. They're traditional, I admitted, my voice dropping. They mean well, but it's suffocating sometimes. Zoe nodded, her expression softening. I get it. My parents disowned me when I came out in high school. Haven't spoken in years. Her words hit like a punch, revealing a vulnerability beneath her confident exterior. I reached across the table, my fingers brushing hers, and she didn't pull away. That touch lingered in my mind long after we parted, stirring questions I'd buried deep. What if this was what I'd been missing? What if pursuing it meant risking everything? Over the next weeks, our coffee dates turned into dinners, walks in the park, late-night talks on my apartment balcony. Zoe shared stories of her past, heartbreaks from women who couldn't commit, the isolation of being out in a world that still judged. I opened up about my doubts, the way I'd always felt different but never named it. "I think I'm like you," I confessed one night, the words tumbling out under the stars. She smiled, pulling me into a hug that felt like home. But doubt crept in. Every time I lied to my parents about where I was going, guilt gnawed at me. Out with a friend, I'd say, avoiding their eyes. Dad's sermons on traditional family values echoed in my head, making me question if this was a phase or a betrayal of my upbringing. Zoe pushed me gently. "You deserve to live your truth, Willow. But only when you're ready." One evening, after a particularly intense conversation, we kissed for the first time. It was soft, tentative, but it unlocked a flood of emotions I'd suppressed for years. Joy mixed with terror. What if someone saw? What if word got back to my family? I pulled away, my mind racing. "This could destroy everything," I whispered. Zoe cupped my face, her eyes fierce. "Or it could build something better." As our relationship deepened, the conflicts began to surface. Zoe's job demanded long hours, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I'd scroll through social media, seeing posts about pride parades juxtaposed with hate comments, wondering where I fit. At school, a student confided in me about her own struggles with identity, and I wanted to help but felt like a hypocrite, still hiding. Then came the first real test. My best friend, Sarah, noticed my distraction. "Who's the guy?" she teased over lunch. I hesitated, then lied. No one special. The words tasted bitter. Sarah was open-minded, but admitting it aloud felt like crossing a line I couldn't uncross. That night, I told Zoe and she frowned. Hiding us hurts, Willow. It's like you're ashamed. I'm not ashamed of you, I insisted, but deep down I knew it was partly true. Ashamed of what it meant for me, for my life. We argued, voices rising in my small living room. You can't have it both ways, she said. Either you're in or you're not. I stormed out, walking the streets, tears streaming. Was this love worth the pain? The thought of losing her twisted my gut, but so did the idea of facing my family's disapproval. Reconciliation came the next day with apologies and promises. But the seed of tension was planted. Zoe's patience wore thin as I delayed coming out. I love you, she said one night, the words hanging heavy. But I won't be your secret forever. I nodded, vowing to change, but fear held me back. Meanwhile, at home, Mom started hinting about setups with nice young men from church. You're not getting any younger, Willow. Each comment was a dagger, reminding me of the life they envisioned. I imagined their faces if I told them. Dad's disappointment, Mom's tears. Could I really shatter that? As summer faded into fall, our relationship hit a turning point. Zoe invited me to a LGBTQ+ event in the city. A fundraiser with music and speakers. It'll be good for you, she urged. I agreed, heart pounding. There, surrounded by people living openly, I felt a spark of freedom. But when a photo of us surfaced on social media, innocent, arms linked, I panicked. What if my family saw? That night, back at my place, I deleted the tag, my fingers trembling. Zoe caught me. Why? She demanded, hurt flashing in her eyes. Because I'm scared, I admitted. We fought again, harsher this time. Scared of what? Losing their approval? Or admitting who you are? Her words cut deep, exposing my cowardice. In the silence that followed, I realized the cost of my indecision. Zoe left, slamming the door, and I collapsed on the couch sobbing. Was this the price of love? Alienating the one person who truly understood me? Or was staying hidden the real betrayal? The days after our fight blurred into a haze of regret and self-doubt. I called Zoe repeatedly, but she didn't answer, her silence a louder accusation than any words. Pacing my apartment, I replayed our argument. Her pain, my fear. How had I let it get this far? Loving her felt right, but the world around me screamed otherwise. Work became my refuge, though even there, the facade cracked. A colleague mentioned a same-sex marriage ruling in the news, and the casual bigotry in his tone. It's unnatural, made my blood boil. I wanted to speak up, to defend, but the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I nodded weakly, hating myself more with each passing second. Finally, Zoe texted. We need to talk. We met at the same cafe where it all began. The familiarity mocking our fractured bond. She looked tired, dark circles under her eyes, and my heart ached. I can't keep doing this, she said softly. The hiding, the half-truths. It's killing me. I reached for her hand, but she pulled back. I know, I whispered. I'm trying. But was I? Deep down, I knew effort meant action, not just words. We talked for hours, unpacking the layers. My internalized shame from years of church teachings, her scars from rejection. By the end, we agreed to try again, but with boundaries. No more secrets with friends, she insisted. I swallowed hard, nodding. Telling Sarah was the first step. Over wine at her place, I blurted it out. I'm dating a woman. Zoe. Sarah's eyes widened, then she hugged me fiercely. I'm happy for you, Wills. Really? Relief washed over me, but it was bittersweet. If only my family could react the same. As fall deepened, our relationship steadied, but external pressures mounted. Zoe's work friend, Mia, started flirting openly, and though Zoe brushed it off, I saw the glances. Jealousy gnawed at me, fueling insecurities. She's just friendly, Zoe assured, but doubt lingered. Was I enough if I couldn't fully commit? Thanksgiving loomed, a family gathering I dreaded. Mom called, excited about the meal, subtly mentioning a nice boy from church who'd be there. Just in case, she added. I hung up, frustration boiling. Zoe suggested I skip it, but that felt like running. Instead, I went alone, leaving her behind. Another secret. At the dinner table, surrounded by relatives, the conversation turned to politics, gay rights specifically. Uncle Bob ranted about moral decay, and Dad nodded along. I gripped my fork, anger surging. What if it was someone you loved? I asked quietly. The table fell silent. Dad frowned. We'd pray for them, Willow. Guide them back. His words echoed as I drove home, tears blurring the road. Guide me back? From what? To a life of pretense. Zoe was waiting when I arrived, her concern evident. I broke down in her arms, confessing the evening's tension. I can't keep this up, I sobbed. She held me, whispering, then don't. That night we made a plan. I'd come out after the holidays, ease into it. But fate intervened. A week later, Sarah accidentally mentioned Zoe in a group chat that included my brother. He confronted me the next day. Is this true? You're gay. His voice dripped with disbelief. I froze, then nodded. Bisexual, maybe. But yes, I'm with Zoe. He stared, then left without a word. Panic set in. What had I done? Hours later, a call from Mom. Your brother told us. We need to talk. The family meeting was a battlefield. Dad's face was stern, Mom tearful. This isn't you, Willow, Dad said. It's a phase influenced by the world. I argued, voice shaking. It's who I am. Mom pleaded. Think of the church, your job. People will judge. Their words hammered my resolve, planting seeds of doubt. Was I selfish for choosing love over family? Zoe supported me through texts, but the strain showed. They're manipulating you, she said when I recounted it. Emotional blackmail. I defended them. They loved me in their way. But her point lingered. Was their love conditional? In the fallout, my brother distanced himself, and church friends whispered. At work, rumors spread after a parent complained about inappropriate influences. The principal called me in. Be discreet. Discreet? It felt like erasure. Zoe and I clashed again when I hesitated to post about us online. You're still hiding, she accused. Hurt, I lashed out. You don't understand the pressure. She stormed off, and this time the silence stretched longer. Desperate, I sought advice from an online forum, reading stories of others' coming outs, some triumphant, others tragic. One post haunted me. A woman who lost her family but gained freedom. Was that my path? Reconciliation came with a surprise visit from Zoe, flowers in hand. I miss you, she said. We talked honestly, admitting fears. But underlying it was a growing rift. Mia had confessed feelings to Zoe, and though rejected, it shook me. Why didn't you tell me? I demanded. I didn't want to worry you, she replied. Trust cracked a little more. As winter approached, a bigger storm brewed. My parents invited us both to dinner, a supposed olive branch. Zoe was wary. It's a trap. But I insisted, hoping for understanding. The evening started civilly, but tension simmered. Dad grilled Zoe on her lifestyle. Mom avoided eye contact. When Zoe defended our love, Dad exploded. This is against God's plan. I stood up for us, but inside old guilt resurfaced. By the end, tears flowed, and we left early. In the car, Zoe was furious. They don't accept us. Why force it? I had no answer. Only a sinking feeling that choosing one meant losing the other. That night, alone in bed, I pondered the cost. Love demanded sacrifice, but whose? Mine for family harmony? Or theirs for my happiness? The dinner's aftermath lingered like a bad dream. My parents called daily, urging counseling, quoting scriptures. We can fix this, Mom said, her voice breaking. Fix me? The implication stung, fueling resentment. Zoe encouraged distance. Protect yourself. But cutting ties felt impossible. They were my roots. At work, the pressure escalated. A student's parent, overhearing gossip, demanded I be monitored for bias. The principal, sympathetic but cautious, suggested I keep personal life private. In this town it's tricky. Tricky? It was discriminatory. I nodded, but inside rage built. How long could I compartmentalize? Zoe and I tried to rebuild, planning a weekend getaway to escape. In a cozy cabin upstate, We reconnected, sharing dreams, travel, maybe marriage someday. I want a future with you, she whispered. Hope flickered, but reality intruded via a text from Dad. Come home. We missed the real you. The real you haunted me. Was the real me the dutiful daughter or the woman in love? Back home, doubts resurfaced. Zoe noticed my distraction. You're pulling away, she said one evening. I denied it, but she pressed. Is it your family? Or something else? Truth was, Mia's confession still bothered me. I confronted Zoe. Did you ever feel anything for her? She hesitated, a split second too long. No, but she's easier. No drama. Her words exploded like a bomb. Easier? Meaning I was hard. The argument escalated. You think this is easy for me? I yelled. Appending my life? Zoe shot back. At least commit. I'm tired of waiting. Hurt turned to accusations and she left again, this time saying, maybe we need space. Space became a chasm. Days turned to weeks without contact. I threw myself into work, but loneliness consumed me. Friends like Sarah checked in, but their pity grated. Fight for her, Sarah urged. But how, when I was fighting myself? In desperation, I attended a support group for LGBTQ+ individuals from religious backgrounds. Hearing stories of rejection and resilience, I saw parallels. One woman shared losing her family but finding chosen ones. Blood isn't everything, she said. Her words resonated, planting seeds of resolve. Meanwhile, rumors reached my parents about Zoe, our fights. Dad confronted me. End it before it destroys you. His certainty ignited defiance. You mean love? For the first time, I hung up on him. Zoe reached out finally via email. I miss you, but I can't be half in. We met at the pool where it started, a poetic closure. She looked worn, vulnerable. I've been seeing Mia, as friends, she admitted. Jealousy surged, but more was betrayal. Friends. After everything. She explained. She's supportive, no hiding. The implication. I wasn't. We talked circles, emotions raw. I love you, I said. But I'm scared. Zoe softened. Love isn't enough without action. We parted undecided, a limbo worse than endings. That night, I journaled furiously, dissecting my fears. Society's judgment, family's expectations. Were they worth sacrificing happiness? A voice inside whispered no. But action came unexpectedly. At church, during Dad's sermon on forgiveness, I stood during Q&A. What if forgiveness means accepting differences? The congregation murmured. Dad faltered, then recovered, but later in his office he was furious. You're confusing people. I'm being honest, I countered. Mom intervened, tears flowing. We love you, but this path. I left, heart heavy but lighter somehow. Honesty's price was isolation, but silence's was soul-crushing. Zoe and I reconciled tentatively, but trust was fragile. When Mia invited her to a party, Zoe declined for me. Gratitude mixed with guilt. Don't change for me, I said. She smiled sadly. I'm not. But compromises hurt. As spring neared, a crisis hit. My brother, in a moment of concern, outed me to extended family via email. Chaos ensued, calls, judgments. Aunt Linda. Pray the gay away. The betrayal cut deep. He was blood. Confronting him. Why? He replied. To save you. Save me? From joy. Rage boiled, but underneath was pain. His fear mirrored mine once. Zoe's support was unwavering, but the strain showed. Your family's toxic, she said. I defended. They're flawed, not evil. The divide widened. Then the ultimate test. Zoe's promotion offer in San Francisco. Come with me, she pleaded. Start fresh. The choice loomed. Leave everything or lose her. Family begged me to stay, promising change. But promises felt empty. Nights were sleepless, weighing pros and cons, freedom versus roots. Love versus duty. In my heart I knew. Staying meant regression. But doubt persisted. What if I regretted it? What if family disowned me forever? The decision crystallized during a heated call with Dad. Choose us or sin. Sin. Loving wasn't sin. I choose me, I said, hanging up. Telling Zoe, I'll go. Joy lit her face, but shadows lingered, Mia's name unspoken. Packing was bittersweet. Goodbyes to Sarah, tentative outreach to family, ignored. As we drove west, hope mingled with fear. Was this right? San Francisco welcomed us with fog-shrouded hills and vibrant streets, a far cry from Chicago's flat predictability. Our new apartment overlooked the bay, symbolizing fresh starts. Zoe thrived at her job, networking in the queer community, while I found a teaching position at a progressive school. On the surface, freedom tasted sweet. But beneath, cracks formed. Uprooting left scars, missed family calls, unanswered texts. Mom's voicemail. We pray for you daily. It twisted the knife. Zoe urged moving on. They had their chance. But blood ties don't sever easily. Socially, I struggled. Zoe's friends were out and proud, their stories of acceptance highlighting my baggage. At a party Mia visited, now in SF2. Her presence irked, especially the easy banter with Zoe. Old friends, Zoe assured, but insecurity festered. One night, after too much wine, I accused. You still talk to her? Zoe sighed. Yes, platonically. Trust me. Trust. After hesitations? The argument reopened wounds. You're projecting your family issues, she said. Maybe, but it hurt. Work provided distraction. My students were diverse, open discussions on identity empowering. But a parent's complaint echoed old fears. Too much focus on LGBTQ+ topics. The admin supported me, but anxiety spiked. Was nowhere safe. Zoe and I hit a routine, but passion waned under stress. She worked late, I graded papers, intimacy replaced by exhaustion. We need to talk, she said one evening. Dread filled me. Are you happy? She asked. Happy? Yes, but I miss home. Honesty stung. She nodded. I know, but this is our life now. Our? It felt like hers, me tagging along. The turning point came with news. Dad's health scare, a mild heart attack. Mom called, voice trembling. He wants to see you. Panic surged. Zoe was against it. They'll guilt you back. But duty pulled. I have to go. The flight to Chicago was turbulent, mirroring my mind. At the hospital, Dad looked frail, Mom aged. I'm glad you're here, he said weakly. No apologies, but a start. We talked superficially, avoiding the elephant. My brother visited, awkward. Sorry for the email. Sorry? It ruined trust. But forgiveness tempted, for peace. Staying a week, old patterns resurfaced. Mom hinted. Maybe stay help. Temptation whispered. Familiarity over uncertainty. But thoughts of Zoe anchored me. Back in SF, she was distant. How was it? Cold. I shared, but she interrupted. Did they change? No, but hope flickered. Her frustration boiled. You're regressing. The fight was brutal. You don't get it, family's everything. I yelled. She countered. I'm your family now. Hurt, she confessed. While you were gone, Mia comforted me. Comforted? The implication shattered me. Emotionally. I pressed. She nodded, tears falling. Nothing physical, but I felt alone. Betrayal hit like a wave. After my sacrifices? We separated temporarily, she to a friend's, me alone with thoughts. Was this the price? Uprooting for love, only for infidelity's shadow? Reflection revealed truths. My indecision fueled her doubt. But her actions? Unforgivable? Reconciliation attempts failed. I need time, she said. Time became permanence. Months passed in solitude. I threw myself into therapy, unpacking trauma, religious guilt, societal pressure. Sessions revealed. Love requires mutual sacrifice, not one-sided. News from home. Dad recovered. Family softened slightly. A card. We miss you. No acceptance, but progress. Zoe and I met for closure. I love you, but we hurt each other too much, she said. Tears flowed, goodbye ached. Single again, I rebuilt. Joined groups, dated casually, found strength in independence. But questions lingered. Was leaving right? Or staying? A year later, at a Pride event, I saw Zoe, with Mia. Happiness for her mixed with pain. Our eyes met. A nod, unspoken understanding. Back home. SF now. I pondered paths not taken. Family invited me for holidays, tentative. I went, boundaries set. Life moved on, scars healing. But the cost, lost love, strained ties. Reminded. Choices define us. Reintegrating with family was a slow dance of caution and hope. Christmas in Chicago brought guarded conversations, no mention of my lifestyle. Dad's health improved, but his views hadn't budged much. We're trying, Mom said privately. Trying for me? Or appearances? Back in SF, I focused on self-growth. Promoted at school, I led diversity workshops, channeling pain into advocacy. Friends became chosen family, their support unwavering. But echoes of Zoe haunted. Mutual friends shared. She and Mia were serious, planning a future. Envy stung. Why them, not us? Reflection showed. My hesitation, her impatience, toxic mix. A surprise. My brother called. I read some books on LGBTQ+ issues. Shocked, I listened as he apologized genuinely. I was wrong. Tears came, bridges mending. Encouraged, I visited more. During one trip, a family dinner turned confessional. I loved her, I said. Silence, then Mom. We want your happiness. Dad nodded stiffly. Progress fragile but real. Yet, societal battles persisted. A bill threatening queer rights sparked protests. I marched, voice strong. Online trolls attacked, but I stood firm. Lessons from loss. Dating again, I met Elena. Kind, patient. No rush, just connection. But shadows of past mistakes loomed. Full honesty from start. Years blurred. Family evolved slowly. Dad attended a PFLAG meeting, awkward but present. For you, he said. Emotion choked me, love's evolution. Zoe's wedding invite arrived. Polite, distant. I declined gracefully, closure complete. In quiet moments, I weighed the journey. Pain of coming out, joy of authenticity, cost of relationships. Was it worth it? Life's tapestry wove on. Teaching, advocating, loving. But the core question remained. In the face of love versus duty, did I choose correctly? Reintegrating with family was a slow, arduous dance fraught with caution, tentative hope, and moments of raw vulnerability. That first Christmas back in Chicago after the move felt like walking on eggshells. The house smelled of pine and cinnamon, familiar comforts that now carried an undercurrent of tension. We exchanged gifts, shared meals, but the conversations skirted around the obvious. My life in San Francisco, my identity, the absence of Zoe. Dad, still recovering from his health scare, looked at me with eyes that held a mix of love and lingering disapproval. Pass the turkey, he said, avoiding deeper topics. Mom, ever the peacemaker, squeezed my hand under the table. We're just glad you're here, she whispered. But was that enough? The unspoken words hung heavy. Glad, as long as I didn't bring up that part of my life. Back in SF, the contrast was stark. The city's energy pulsed with acceptance, rainbow flags waving proudly, couples like me walking hand in hand without fear. I dove deeper into my work, getting promoted to lead the school's diversity initiative, planning workshops on inclusivity. I channeled the pain of my past into something constructive. Your story matters. I told students struggling with their own identities. Hypocrite no more. I shared snippets of my journey, watching their eyes light up with recognition. It was healing, this act of giving back, but it didn't erase the voids left by lost love and strained family bonds. Echoes of Zoe persisted in unexpected ways. A song on the radio, a familiar laugh in a crowd. They triggered floods of memories. Mutual friends, navigating the awkwardness, shared updates. She and Mia were thriving, traveling, even talking engagement. Envy twisted in my gut, not just for the relationship, but for the ease they seemed to have. Why couldn't that have been us? Late nights, staring at the ceiling, I dissected our downfall. My chronic hesitation born from fear, her growing impatience that led to emotional drifts. It was a toxic alchemy, turning gold to ash. We were both at fault. I admitted in therapy, the words a balm on old wounds. Then came the surprise call from my brother, Mark. Hey Wills, he started, voice hesitant. I've been reading some books, on LGBTQ plus issues allyship. I nearly dropped the phone. This from the man who'd outed me in a fit of misguided concern? We talked for hours, him apologizing with a depth I hadn't expected. I was scared ignorant. I thought I was helping, but I hurt you. Tears streamed down my face as forgiveness bloomed. Not instant, but genuine. It means a lot, I said. That conversation cracked open doors long shut, hinting at reconciliation's possibility. Encouraged, I visited Chicago more frequently. During one such trip, a family dinner evolved into an unplanned confessional. Seated around the old oak table, I mustered courage. I loved her, Zoe. It was real. Silence descended like a blanket, thick and suffocating. Mom's eyes welled up. Dad shifted uncomfortably. Then, unexpectedly, Mom spoke. We want your happiness, Willow. Truly. Dad nodded, albeit stiffly, adding, it's hard for us, but we're trying. The words weren't perfect, laced with remnants of old beliefs, but they were a start, a fragile bridge over the chasm we'd all helped dig. Yet the broader societal battles raged on, reminding me that personal victories were part of a larger war. A controversial bill in Congress threatened to roll back queer rights, sparking nationwide protests. I joined the marches in SF, chanting alongside thousands, my voice merging with the collective roar. Online, trolls spewed hate, their anonymity a shield for cowardice. Go back to hiding, one messaged. But I stood firm, replying publicly with facts and empathy, lessons forged from my own trials. Advocacy became my armor, turning personal pain into public purpose. In the realm of romance, I treaded carefully. Meeting Elena at a book club, a soft-spoken librarian with a gentle smile, felt like a gentle thaw after winter's freeze. We dated slowly, no rush toward labels or futures. Tell me your story, she said on our third date. I did, unfiltered. The love lost family strife. Her understanding nod eased lingering fears. But shadows of past mistakes loomed. I vowed full honesty from the outset, no more half-truths. As years blurred into one another, family's evolution continued, slow but steady. Dad, in a move that stunned us all, attended a PFLAG meeting. He returned awkward, admitting, it was eye-opening. For him, that was monumental. Did it for you, he grumbled later, but his eyes betrayed emotion. Hugs replaced handshakes. Conversations deepened beyond weather and work. Zoe's wedding invitation arrived one crisp autumn day. Elegant cardstock, polite note. Wishing you well. It read. I declined with grace, no bitterness, just closure. Our paths had diverged, each leading to growth. In quiet, reflective moments, sipping coffee on my balcony, watching the bay's waves, I weighed the entire journey. The excruciating pain of coming out, the exhilarating joy of living authentically, the steep cost to relationships and self. Was it all worth the turmoil? The answer shifted with moods, but ultimately yes. Freedom's price, though high, bought invaluable peace. Life wove its tapestry onward. Teaching inspired minds, advocating for change, loving without fear. But at the core, one question persisted, a spark for endless debate. In the eternal tug-of-war between love and familial duty, did I choose the right side? Was sacrificing deep-rooted family ties for the pursuit of personal truth ultimately the moral path? Or does true fulfillment demand compromise even at the expense of one's core identity?